Hey, welcome everyone for coming to check out the episode 0 of my Valheim slow play. Along with me for the ride is a complete newbie who's never played or watched any Valheim, to the best of my knowledge. My good buddy who goes by Half-Tracked on World of Tanks. Kurt, how's it going?
Well, pretty good. How's it going with you?
It's going good. So Kurt is watching, so he may comment on things that are a few moments behind, or it may seem like he's behind, and that's just because obviously there's a delay in the stream. So actually, I will be the only one who recognizes that he is behind.
I've lived a life of being behind.
All right, so I need to create a new character, or I don't need to, but I'm going to create a new character for the stream. I should come up with a good, solid Viking name.
Are you looking for suggestions?
Do you have a suggestion? I put a thing out to the Facebook community, who follows All About the Geek on Facebook, and said, hey, if you have any ideas for what I should call my Vikinger, they should give me some ideas. There's no guarantee that I'll take their ideas, but I said, you should at least provide me with some.
So what were their ideas?
None. No one commented. I don't know that anyone saw the post.
Okay, no fun. You could just go with Sogard.
I could go with Sogard. How do I spell Sogard?
Soggard.
Sogard. There we go. So for those who don't know, Sogard was my friend's name in the Society for Creative Anachronism. That's what he went by. That would be Kurt here that we were talking about. Give him longish hair. Let's give him some nice braids, maybe. I do not want him to have a man bun.
Oh, come on. Isn't that the in thing?
It may be the in thing, but I don't think many people can pull it off, and I'm definitely thinking Sogard cannot. Braided for some nice braided things. Hair tone kind of on the lighter side.
There.
And blondness. And then skin tone. Neon pale. Okay, that looks good. Okay, so we got Sogard. So that's the character we're going to use. But now we're going to create a new world. We're going to create a brand new world, new seed. So new, this is the seed we'll be using. I'm going to copy that. And I'll figure that out later. I'm going to call this AATG, All About the Geek, stream game. Because my intention is largely to only play this game when I'm on stream. I may go and do some, what do you call it? I may do some farming. Like, people don't necessarily want to watch you go and cut down wood for 2 hours. So some of that stuff may happen off stream, but most of like the building and the big adventuring aspects of this, I intend to do on stream so everyone can see in it. And I won't deny, like, part of this is I want to get back into streaming and do a little bit more. I used to stream on Twitch, decided to stream just on YouTube because that's where I want to grow my audience. And I'm planning to mostly not make a lot of videos through September and October while I'm gonna dedicate some time. I purchased some courses. I'm gonna just talk through the scroll here. Long ago, the All-Father Odin united the worlds. He threw down his foes and cast them into the 10th world, then split the boughs that held their prison to the world tree and left it to drift unanchored, a place of exile. For centuries, this world slumbered uneasily, but it did not die. As glacial ages passed, kingdoms rose and fell out of the sight of the gods. When Odin heard his enemies were growing again, in strength, he looked to Midgard and sent his Valkyries to scour the battlefields for the greatest warriors to defend the world, and they were born again in Valheim. Yeah, I'm going to take a couple months off from making videos. Not that I'm making a lot of videos, do some training. And so this is me being dropped off by this giant raven, which of course is one of the infamous symbols of Odin, his Odinness, the All-Father. And Hunin is the one who guides you through Valheim. So my buddy Kurt, who is joining us, is of Danish descent, and therefore is 100% more Viking than I am.
Well, you have a European background. You could be
I do. I am. My heritage is Dutch and German. Huygen. So there we go. He's going to tell me about the monoliths and the megaliths that surround it and the various things that I can learn. They represent the Forsaken, which you must slay in order to ascend to Valhalla. So currently there are. So if you've never, I mean, Kurt has never played Valheim, so we're going to give him the full intro. Huygen's going to talk. He just talks a lot. And he tells me the first one I have to kill is Eikthyr. It's my first prey. He's a mighty beast. I'll need to properly arm myself before I even attempt to defeat him. So when I eventually defeat Eikthyr, I'll come back here and put his trophy here. And then one for the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and the next one. And there will be, as you can see, there is a rather large gap. There will be at least 2 more bosses that are coming in the game, which is, it's one of those unfortunate things. Like, Valheim is a really great game, and it got a lot of really good traction at the beginning of the year when it was released. But then, it's a development team of 6 people. So Eikthyr, the boss fight is right there. So I get this cool thing where I can register my dudes there. So Eikthyr, I can go to where his battle will be pretty easily. But yeah, so there was a lot of uptake for the game, but then it died off. And I think there's going to be a bit of a resurgence because the first big update is coming, I think, at the end of this month, maybe early September, which is going to change some of the food stuff. But anyway, so it's a survival game, and I need to get things so I can survive. So the first thing to do is I'll grab some raspberries. Oh, and where's Huygen? Somewhere around
Green
here.
Viking needs food badly.
Right? So Huygen's somewhere and wanted to tell me something about food. Now, let's take a look at my map. So one of the things I've decided I want to do with this is I kind of want to build one really awesome base, and I'll have some outposts at the various other islands because the world is massive. If we scroll out, that's how big the world is. So when you can tell me when you've seen the map there, Kurt. But it's big.
Vast.
It is a vast world.
My question is this just looking at it down on it because it's flat?
Yeah,
Or-
it is more of a disc. It is not. I mean, to be fair, like the dev team has done a really good job of adding some of that dimensionality that you would expect to see. Oh, there's Huygen. I just need to clear out all this talking stuff. I found a snack. Confuse it to improve your health. I'm not going to right now. I don't to improve my health.
Big bloody raven.
It is. Yes, I am punching down a tree.
I'm just gonna say, are you really beating that bush?
I am beating that bush. So early on, it's really important to collect everything. Partly because you won't. Oh.
Does it go away?
Deal with this railing. Punch him to death. It's not that stuff goes away. It's that you need the resources. Fighting a boar with, I might actually want some food. Okay. I did not die. Let's grab some food. They don't go away, and in fact, like in the case of the various food bits, Munin was his brother. So anyway, it's just that the resources, like sometimes you bypass things that you don't think you need because you don't need them at the first stage of the game. And it's not they go away, but like the sooner you start collecting some of these things and building up stockpiles, it just makes your life that little bit easier in the late game is something that I have learned having played through to... Well, I've actually completed all of the bosses in one world that I played in with some friends. And early on, obviously, I have no tools. And do I have... So I can build a club now.
No, but I think I asked the question, like, does all this stuff that you're collecting, does it go away? Does it randomly come back? Does it redisperse? Or, like...
I think the stones and the branches that I find on the ground do not come back. And these trees that I punch down, I could use my club to take it down, but I don't want to wear down. So all of your gear actually wears out as well, and you have to constantly repair it.
And does the world grow?
Yes, so you can grow. So like the raspberries and mushrooms and stuff will regrow. And actually, if I find large caches of them, I'll actually tag them on my map so I know where to go to get them again.
Okay, even some of these trees and all that. The small ones that might grow back.
The small ones don't grow back. They might. I'm not 100% sure if the small ones grow back, but the big ones do not unless you plant them, because you can be an environmentally conscious Viking. And
Okay.
all right, I was taking a look because in some of these you will find beehives. And getting bees is awesome because with bees you get honey, and what can you do with honey?
Mead.
You can make mead. That is correct. And honey is also a really solid early game food that's high in stamina, at least until the update, because that's food stuff is one of the big things that's going to change. So
honey is your first sugar, right?
Honey is your first sugar. But what I normally try to do is I like to find the ocean, because if you can have your main base near the water, it makes it easier for transporting goods from other locations. And the other thing that I'm going to do that I found is quite useful, and a number of, I'll say, more experienced Valheim players than I, because while I have like 200 hours in this game, there are people who have like 1,000 hours in the game. You know, a game has been out 6 months and they've put as much time into it as you would into a full-time job in a year. But that's, you know, that's what they're doing. Good for them. I'm happy for people to have a job where they can make money doing that.
Like I say, get a job doing something you love.
Absolutely.
Back to the whole thing about setting yourself up by the water. Is that because you get a boat and you transport, or is it just that the lay of the land going along the shore is easier traveling than what I'm seeing here over hills and all that?
No, you will. Oh, there's a good mushroom patch here. You will get boats.
Well, because I'm just looking, does your character actually move slower or hindered by the terrain, or?
No. It's hindered by the water if you're walking in the water, because if anyone's walked on a beach in the water, you know, it just takes that little bit extra. It's almost like walking in snow, right?
It's a resistance.
Yeah. So right now I'm just kind of wandering aimlessly. Sometimes if you're lucky, when the raven brings you in, you'll see your path on the map will bring you past water. But obviously this is a fairly large main island that I'm on. This my first island is quite large. And so as a result, I did not pass any water yet. So I might just be looking around for a little bit.
What's this?
So it's a runestone. Heed the words of Ulf, a poor settler in a strange land. You will find here good stone and wood, all you need to build a house. You will need to craft a roof to keep out of the rain, and you will need walls to stop the roof from falling down. Finally, you must have a door on it, or it'll be much harder to get in and out. These things Ulf learned for himself. Now he writes them down on stone to help others. Pray to Odin for his soul.
So was that building you were in earlier? Was that Ulf's?
It's one of Ulf's, theoretically. Like, I don't know. I've never run into Ulf. Maybe that'll be something we see later on in later content. No idea. I think it'd be cool because they talk about Ulf and Frey. Not Freya, but I think it'd be neat if you got to meet Ulf kind of like at the end of it all.
Now, you can't just repair the building that you found?
I could. I absolutely could. And that is actually how I will, that will be my first base. Won't be that building in particular. Oh, there might be some stuff there. But I like to find an existing structure because it's way more resource effective in the early game when your resource collection is a little harder. Like I can build, actually I probably have enough to build a stone axe. But until you,
Question for you.
what's
The
that?
materials that you're collecting, are they totally random to this, or is there some kind of geological kind of follow of it, right? Like you might find gold closer to a stream or something like that at the bottom of a hill. You might find certain trees in certain groves in different areas, and the same thing with like you're finding fruits and vegetables or whatever, mushrooms. Now, is there some type of system involved in? Oh, you go look at this area, like you look at the map. It doesn't really give you much to follow.
No, but you are absolutely correct. So yes, there are different, they call them biomes. So each different area is going to give you different things. So I'm currently in the meadows. You can see in my map up there, it says meadows. In the meadows, I'll find raspberries and I'll find mushrooms, and I will find beech and birch trees. And I will find occasionally, actually there's one right over there, an oak tree. So I'll have different trees here than I will in other biomes. So then in the Black Forest, which will be like kind of, that's the second biome as it were. In that one you find your conifers. So you have fir and pine.
All right. Now, what about animals? Do you hunt animals Oregon Trail style in this, or?
Yeah, so there was the boar that I fought earlier, and there are deer.
Do you require them as elements?
They provide important things like leather. So I'll get I got some leather scraps from him, and I got raw meat, which I can then cook. And the same thing, I'll get leather hide, so I'll get like a full hide basically off of a deer, which I can then turn into which I can use for making clothes and sails for my ships.
I see the game started off giving you some clothes. You didn't have to get them.
Yeah, so I've got some rags, some real basic stuff. And then I'll get leather armor, and there are trolls in this, which you can then make troll armor. And troll hide is great because it actually gives you a bonus to stealth. So you can see on my map, there's a little arrow that actually indicates the way the wind is blowing. Oh. And so it means it's harder for me to stalk prey because I'm upwind of the prey.
Yeah, you gotta get downwind so they don't smell you, period.
Yeah, so
they kind of don't hold back on the blood, really.
Nope, it is a no holds barred sort of thing.
Now, just for those out there, who have young children that they would allow to play, are there ways to reset that so that you can bring down the form factor?
Settings, graphics, vertical.
Not that I would set it for myself, but
no, I don't
someone else
think there is.
Okay. There will be blood. That's all there is to it.
There will be blood. There's blood, but it's not bad.
But
absolutely.
Different people,
everyone
levels.
has different things that they're comfortable with, right? Different things they're comfortable with their kids seeing and doing. Honestly, Valheim's, I think, a solid game for the like 12-year-old crowd and up, because I think it's good to. There's a lot of good concepts for them to learn, like when you're wet, you get cold easier, and you need to warm up. And we've all either been or had that child who just refuses to wear a jacket even though they should.
Well, I think it's funny how these video games, which keep kids indoors from being outdoors, is at least teaching them, if you're going to be outdoors, be prepared for this.
Exactly. You never know when a grayling is going to spawn up.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at. But like you're stating the whole thing about when you're wet, you get cold.
Exactly.
That was a good tree stand back there. That little building is going to point out. Like once you got bows and arrows, that would be a place where you're going to
absolutely. And bows are, bows are a big part of how I like to play Valheim. But I've also, I'm thinking in this particular game, I'm gonna try to diversify. So it's got a bit of a role-playing element because you have skills. Let's just take a look at that quickly. So these are the only skills I have so far. So I've got unarmed, clubs, blocking, jump, axes, sneak, and run. And each of them increase on their own merit when you use them.
Right.
So there's no levels, which I totally appreciate, but also, like, after taking down a troll and a big fight, and kind of like, wow, like, I want to level up. I want some experience.
Yeah. Well, you're also just walking around mostly, right?
Yeah.
So technically, I saw you had stat there running. Just by using the run function, would that not keep increasing your
There
ability?
we go. I've
to run?
improved my running
Jeez.
skill.
So you do the Conan run across the land.
Exactly.
Oh.
Oh, there's this ocean.
The game is definitely not boring.
Yeah, it was kind of one of the things that I want to do with this, even though it's completely unnecessary, is I want to make all of the weapons and have every weapon of every age, as it were. So, like, you start in the Stone Age, and then you go bronze, and then iron, and then you can get black metal weapons in the Plains biome, which is arguably the dead. Well, it's not even arguably. It is just
That was
100%
really
the deadliest.
That was really taking off. That's crazy.
Yeah, they will run. And one of the cool things that I like is that, like, with the boar, you can actually tame them and breed them.
Really? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, so you can build a little pen and...
So there's animal husbandry.
Yep. So it tells you here, like, you can... They fear fire and the hand of man. Whoops.
Ooh. Where'd he come from?
Came from behind. There's a little... It might have been the same. But I did spot some water over here. So if I ate food, I would be, I'd have more stamina.
Right.
But I don't have lots, and I'd rather use it, like, if I get a bunch of mobs coming out, like, so, like, if I got a whole bunch of greylings or grey dwarves or something coming after me, I'd rather use it then to increase my health and stamina in that period of time. Later on, once I've kind of got a bit of an established food plan, as it were, once I've got an answer for how I'm going to feed myself, then I will eat more regularly. But until then, I'll just kind of pick away at it when I think it's important.
The runestone that goes back to your right. Now, are they all really just little helpful tips to tell you?
Yeah,
To teach you how to play the game. Okay.
that's exactly. I think it's a really neat way to introduce you to it. Although sometimes they wind up repetitive. Like, I bet you this is a boar one again.
Yeah, I see all boar around them.
Yeah. So what happens is when the seed is made, all of this stuff is determined by the randomness of that initial seed of the game, right?
Right.
And
This seems to be the land of bacon.
this is the land of bacon. Although what I really want is I want some 2-star pork. Because the more stars a thing has, it's tougher, like, from a standpoint of fighting it. But it also means, like, for the boar, you get more stuff from it. So you get more leather scraps, you get more food from it. So if you're trying to use your boar farm as a way of feeding yourself.
Now, do you theoretically share these worlds with other players, or is it just you in this?
So in this one, it's just me. But one of the things that could happen is that if you decided you wanted to participate, you could, if you got Valheim, you could play together. Like, and there are community servers that people play on. And because you have stuff that's kind of private or whatnot, there's actual mechanics in the game that allow you to protect your stuff. Like, you can put a ward icon down that prevents people who aren't you from opening the doors. So there is a little hut over there.
I also saw a bunch of rocks set up on the shore there in the shape of a boat.
Yes, and that is a very good call because 100%. Once I have the ability to make a pickaxe, I can excavate that and find usually the remnants of a boat in there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So there'll be different things in there, and I'm just nervous about making this rock because I can drown.
Oh, like something's attacking you.
When the temperature drops at night, you should stay with us.
I was just gonna ask, when does is there a time change on this?
Yeah. Good. Yes, there is. Let's just
And I see you're dripping wet right now, your character.
Yes. And you can see I even have the wet status.
It's gonna count down in a minute. Graylings, what are those? They're like just some version of an ant?
Something like that, I think. I'm not entirely sure where they come from as far as mythology goes. My Viking and Norse mythology is weak.
But it looks like some type of literally stick person.
Yeah,
So
basically. Okay, so that's... I actually find the torch is not helpful, but where the torch is helpful is the Graylings don't like it either, and they will not... they will run away from you and throw things at you rather than attack en masse.
they are wood.
They are wood. Okay, so there's a nice little village there, which may make a good starting spot. So the reason I like a little village like that is because then I can kind of make each of the buildings there its own dedicated purpose.
Yeah. Storage, an actual living place, a workshop.
Exactly.
So, gotcha.
So let's see what we've got. This is actually a pretty solid building.
Oh, it's already got set up for herding pigs.
Yep.
I said herding pigs, not herding.
So we got this one.
What's that?
That was a seagull.
Oh, yeah. Take those things out.
Oh yes.
Rats with wings.
Pretty much. Okay, so this one has a door. Oh, we're in good shape. So let's build a... Oops, I actually haven't built a hammer yet.
Bed there. And something that said, I bring tidings. Is that just like you hit a key and it's just if you walk in someone's house? I come in.
No, it's just Hugin jumped in here because I built a workbench, which is like, you know, oh, let's tell you what workbench is. So now I can just repair this. And this is what I was talking about, like repairing this costs me no materials whatsoever.
Really?
Yeah, it's just stamina.
Is there something under the floorboards?
Dirt.
Maybe a secret storage.
Well, and I saw one fellow, Firespark, actually built his bed under the floor because he could, ultimately, and it kept it out to keep his build as clean as possible. I think it was cheesy.
Why would you think it's cheesy?
I don't know, like it totally minimizes, and I get it. But I would just, if I didn't want I'd build a closet or something. I think I appreciated the aesthetic he was going for, but it was the ultimate min-maxing, right?
Well, you know.
Oh, I mean, again, I totally respect what he was trying to do with it. It's just, it wasn't for me. All right, so in order for me to make this a comfortable place, so I need a bed. Drop a bed over there.
Although it might be easier to make a marine dugout in the ground than it is to make a Viking rope bed.
Yeah.
More seagulls around.
Yeah, if I had a bow, I could deal with that, but I don't. So I need a fire.
Right beside your house?
Well, you need to have a fire near the near your bed.
Okay. Keep it warm.
Yeah. So it will go out if it rains. So I need to think about a roof for it, or if it even blows. Like if you get blowing wind, that can be a thing. So I'm just gonna.
What, did it set your house on fire?
No. Oh. And high tide is going to be a beast. This isn't. So this will be a very temporary home, I think. This will be just for tonight, because the water comes up. Like if they actually do some cool tidal things. And it means that the wind and the rain can come up, and that will put the fire out.
Oh. Just because the area around is damp.
That's right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wake up in the morning. I'm going to disassemble my workbench so I get my wood back, and actually some that too. No, I guess that'll stay. So one of the other cool things that one of my favorite bits about this is, rather than make your life difficult by destroying your materials that you use to build with when you disassemble something, you get everything back as long as it's in good shape. Okay. So
What are those massive?
these are called necks. Some sort of lizard thing. So, and again, so another thing, like we were talking about, like different areas and things that you find in different areas. You only find flint near water.
Oh,
as you would in real life. I don't know if it's entirely, but like usually there's a water source nearby that helps find flint. So here's some more flint. They don't make like building. Oh, not the big raspberry patch. But yeah, so flint to use. I could have made a flint axe. I should have actually repaired my existing axe while I had my workbench up in the cabin, because you can. If I could build a workbench anywhere,
right.
But I can't use it unless it is protected from the elements. So like I can use it to build a structure, but I can't use it to improve or build new gear unless it's protected from the elements.
Oh, the tides seem to be going out real quick.
Yeah. But you can see how the water level is rising and falling.
Yeah.
No, I originally, like when I first was introduced to this game, I was like, oh man, like I'm not sure about it. I wasn't, I'm like, I don't know, it feels, the graphics felt dated and stuff, but
The graphics don't really have to matter as long as the gameplay there. It's like, come on, let's look at Minecraft.
exactly,
It's not
people
exactly-
love the Minecraft.
Yeah, and look at the graphics there. Block people,
Yeah.
you know?
So this is like definitely a step up, and you get some really beautiful vistas sometimes. It's just. So yeah, I've explored So this is where I started. This is where I am now.
Right.
And that's where my bed is. So if I were to die, my bed is my spawn.
That's awesome.
I should have cooked some. How much do I've probably got 10. I want to see if I can find a better initial starting village to set up shop in. There's a couple things that I look for. So the village is good, but also it's nice to have Black Forest nearby. It's not critical in the way I'm planning on doing this particular game, but it's definitely nice to have. But right now, I'm just going for an explore. Some people like, and this is why I actually called this whole series a Valheim slow play, because I'm not rushing to set up a home. I want to be a bit more exploring, and yeah, just I want to make it a more, I don't know, a more enriched, a more role play maybe type of experience. And again, that's one of the great things. Oh, this is just. Oh, I want in there. There's a beehive in there.
So is that rock there on purpose to keep you out?
That rock is there because, no automatic pre-generated world engine creation is perfect. Let's eat some food. I might actually have. That's what we're gonna do. Build a crude bow and split arrows. Flint axe. Very nice shit. Fine. Because the bees get angry and attack.
Well, that makes sense.
So here is another trick I could have done if I didn't have enough stuff to make the bow. So I got some honey, and probably up there is a queen bee somewhere. So what I'm doing is I'm
People looking for the queen.
The queen will allow me to build my own hive.
Oh, I thought it would just be like collect a hive or move it to some other location.
Remember what I was saying about you get everything back? If I repair everything, I get a bunch more resources than I would if I destroyed it.
Now, I guess at this point in time, it's good to wander around, taking a look at again at all the vegetation. It would be good to keep your beehive near, say, all of your plants, like your berries and all that.
I hope that's something they do in the future. It's not currently in the game. Like your beehives just have to have, clear access to be able to get away with. You can check on your bees and they'll be happy or they'll be sad.
But I was just wondering how, there's so much going on in this world interactively to each other. I thought possibly by having a beehive and making sure you put it relatively close to something in the biome here of plants, they would make the beehive more successful and possibly even increase the amount of stuff that grows in the area.
What I think would be awesome is if they did something like that. So if you had a beehive near your farm, like because you can grow different crops and stuff.
Right.
If you have a beehive near your farm, I think they should 100% increase the speed of the at which the crops grow and produce, And I also think that you should get, if you have different resources nearby, that maybe you get different flavors of honey. Now, you can't currently cultivate the berries, which would be the most obvious one to get, because there's raspberries here, and there's blueberries in the Black Forest.
Okay.
But you can't grow them, like you can't transplant the things. Where if I find carrot seeds in the Black Forest or turnip seeds in the swamp, I can then bring those back to wherever and grow those plants. It's a fair bit of all meadows. Cool. Should not. I'm at 283, so you've got a weight limit that you can carry, and I'm at 283 of 300 pounds, so randomly picking up wood isn't. Yeah, I need to. Okay, so there's a Black Forest.
Now, could you not like just store some of what you're carrying on you in any of these buildings that you've come across, like where you set up your bed?
Yes, absolutely.
Wars. There's another one.
Yeah.
Well, there's a bunch of them.
Yeah, there are. So there's a Black Forest there. I'm not really keen to set up right at the Black Forest, especially if there isn't a building nearby. Because then I have to build a whole base, and well, I could get away with a pretty minimalistic structure, but I'd rather not. So there's my Black Forest. I'm just gonna see what's over here. Like, these might actually be two entirely independent islands. So I'm just gonna do the Conan run, as you so aptly put it, across the tundra. Oh, mushroom. Mushrooms are one of those foods that early on you're like, oh, you know, they're okay, and you don't get. Oh, there's a mountain too. You don't get they're random. They're one of those things you can't grow, but you need them for some recipes. So like carrot soup, you need mushrooms.
And so there's like in-game recipes, and
yeah,
there are obviously health benefits of these.
Absolutely. So you get better stamina, better health from them. So more health, more stamina for these different things. This is a different house that I have not spent. Nothing. But yeah, so once I find a place that's going to be kind of like my first base, I will build some storage boxes and drop a bunch of this stuff off.
So with the encumbrance that you got going on there too, well, for a while there you were running at a rested, you were operating at rested.
Yes.
Now, does being encumbered bring that rested down faster?
If you are overloaded, so if I had more than 300 pounds of weight, then yes, I would move very slowly and it would drain my stamina. I don't think it would reduce my rested buff itself. So the rested is a status you have, and it lasts for a period of time. Can't remember what the calculation is. But there's, once you hit a certain level, I think it's seven minutes plus a minute for every level of rested you are.
Alright. Now, seeing you're having a little trouble scaling parts of this, does it get to a point in this game where you will literally have to fashion ropes or other equipment to climb certain areas to get access to them?
Not quite, but close.
Can you just climb trees? Just climb trees and stuff like that too?
You can build things so you can climb trees, and you can build your house in trees, which can be a fun thing to do. But mostly, like, what'll happen is if you're on a steep slope and you want to move up it, what you'll basically do is kind of jump or run as far as you can, and then if you've got your pickaxe, you can make a ledge to rest on.
Oh, okay. Like literally carving steps into the side of the mountain.
Exactly. Thank you, dear.
Wow.
That does not happen very often.
Animal charging you? Yeah.
Well, just running past me, like they either I spooked them or they got spooked by something else.
Whatever thing is spooked right at you.
Yeah.
What's this?
So we have a little bit of a creek. Got some water here.
Oh, this looks like a mosquito farm.
Thankfully, mosquitoes only exist in the plains, and they are very, very bad. They are actually called death mosquitoes.
Oh, really?
Yes. And they will mess you up.
Oh, lovely.
I may be out of luck on the island, although this is clearly a separate island from this one. So it's not a bad necessarily. It's actually second little biome. Oh. Whoa, nope. That's a nope.
What? Why is that a no? What's wrong? What's back there?
A troll.
Oh, I see.
He's gonna throw rocks at me now. Big rocks.
Oh yeah, that's what they do. Serpentine, serpentine.
Right. Thankfully, he is slow. Slow as slow. Very, very slow. Whoa.
Whoa. What the heck? Holy cow.
I got swamped by some... Alright, I need to drop some stuff.
I didn't realize that the dwarves were going to chase you. Came across a grayling by accident.
Yep. Royce pitched a bunch of stone because it was just going to weigh me down.
Yeah.
But I think I'm going to go back to the other island. See if I have better luck with what I'm looking for over there. See the pass. Just looks. Yeah, that's a much better place to be. Maybe I should just walk across this island. There we go. Much more safer.
Much better.
Yeah. But it's one of those things where it's like, oh, that, can you do me a favor and just throw something into chat? Like in the Facebook or on the YouTube chat? I just want to make sure that I'm actually getting a chat feed to my display here. I don't think there's anything else really watching, so I'm not overly concerned, but it would verify that things are working as intended. Here's another tower stand thing from Bob. So falling can totally be a thing. I'm just going to tuck in here, and I'm just going to pause for a second here. I just want to, my landlord just texted me about something leaking. I want to find out if it's like an urgent leak or if it's just like water running. Okay. So I will be right back, everyone who's watching. Just be a second. I'll be right back. All right, sorry about that. But when the landlord says, hey, we've got water building up in our wall, can you check to see if there's a leak in your bathrooms? You kind of do that.
Is it all good?
Well, there's no leak in the bathrooms, so that's good. But that means that he's going to have to cut open the ceiling.
Oh,
Yeah.
no. Get a little noisy then?
Well, it won't get noisy from... Oh, there's a bunch of black forest. Okay. So my hope of finding... Oh, black forest right there. My hope of finding a village near the water that didn't suck is apparently not going to happen.
Huh.
And we're going to move away from this. This building will be my beginning of my structures. Oh. Burn, suckers. Oh, I died.
Oh no. I'm sorry, Jay, but I had
Oh.
trouble here.
Nope.
The chat.
No worries. No, I got offed by a gray dwarf, which makes sense. I have no armor and I have, you know, first tier weapons. So now it's just me and my skivvies. You know what? I think I'm just gonna go ahead and rest. Might as well get some sleeps, catch some Z's.
Well, right now it's telling me I need to create a channel to join the chat.
Oh, because you have to be a subscriber to chat.
I just
So, don't worry about it. Where I died, I don't.
subscriber to what exactly?
You have to subscribe to All About the Geek.
I have subscribed. It's all there.
But you have to subscribe for at least 10 minutes.
Maybe that's it.
Because if you just subscribe, that would.
Well, I haven't used my YouTube, like signed into YouTube in a long time.
Right.
So I had to do my password and all that. So,
Yes.
yeah.
So if you're watching this and you're not also subscribed to my YouTube channel, you should subscribe. Not necessarily you, Kurt, but you know, you, the other viewers who watch this in the future.
In the time before, in the time after now.
In the time after now. And if you're watching this now and are not subscribed, you can also hit the subscribe button.
Hit the little bell. Little thing.
Hit the little notification icon. Like the video. Like and subscribe. Throw a comment. all the things that help the algorithm tell people that they should tell others to watch my videos. So yeah, so right now I'm going to go reclaim my corpse.
And all your loot.
All my sweet.
So I'm a little confused. Isn't technically right now where you're playing in relation to your character kind of caught between heaven and hell?
It is.
Sort of a purgatory?
It is, and that's why you can
die in purgatory over and over again?
You can die in purgatory over and over again.
Okay. Not like Valhalla where you die, you just get back up.
That's right.
You just keep going to see your own corpse. That isn't a mind bender at all.
No.
Now, as you kill animals, and obviously you use parts of them to craft equipment and tools, you can't use yourself.
No, you cannot craft with your own corpse.
Wow, just saying, it's as awful as it sounds. What was that down the shore? Was there something down there? Oh, I see it. What's that? Yeah, there's something to the left. What is that? Oh, beastie. Wee beastie.
A wee beastie, and I don't have my body or any of my stuff.
Yeah, you don't.
And here's the thing. If you die again, your other corpse marker and everything stay there. You don't lose your stuff. Your stuff never goes away.
Right.
But what does go away is the little skull and bones icon on your map.
Ah.
So it can make it harder to find your stuff. Alright, so this little building will become my new home. Mostly because there's a black forest right there.
Right.
So
you prefer to set up near the Black Forest?
Setting up near a black forest has some intrinsic benefits. Because a good chunk of the early game is spent in the black forest. So even if it's not that one, so like the first metals you get access to are tin and copper, which you use to make bronze, which are found in the black forest.
Okay.
So
now, isn't there other ways that you could develop as you're building through this game, not necessarily go that route? Like clearly you've played it a little bit, you understand more efficient ways to move along quicker to get stuff. Now, do people, is it better for them to set up there, or can they just as easily set up anywhere else?
You can set up other places, and I'm not even positive this is the best place to set up. So, in some of my first times I played this, and with my buddy Aaron who got me into this, we set up near the Black Forest-ish, but far enough away. But like we put a lot of infrastructure into a base that we ultimately abandoned. And I don't like that. It's not an aspect of the game that I'm a fan of, because you put a bunch of time into doing the thing, and then it's like, oh, and now I'm just gonna walk away from it. Like I don't like that. So my thought is if I can make a good enough base to start with, but not something nothing that's intended to last me longer than necessary, then that is one way to go. Because now I've got my little hut here. It's not perfect by any stretch.
Can't you burn it when you leave if you don't want to keep it?
I mean, I can disassemble a bunch of things. I actually do want to do
Loot it for equipment.
Yeah, basically.
Reclaimed. That's the new in thing. Reclaimed lumber.
I'll reclaim stuff. I'm gonna build a little box here to drop the heavy things and stuff that I'm. I will put half in here. And
your wood and stone are flashing. Does that mean that you're low on those items?
Oh no, that just means that in order to craft anything, I don't have what I need to craft for those things.
Stone axe, okay.
Oops. Not what I put that. Or something. There's things. That's fine. Not actually. Just yet. All right. So I've got an initial thing here. I'm gonna do a little more exploring and see if there's maybe some better structures to use as a base further up. It's further away from the water than I'd like, but it's kind of like, what's your first option? What's your second option? I reached a point where I couldn't proceed without making something more permanent, hence the work I just did. But let's see if I can find a cluster of buildings that are just going to provide a better starting, even if I have to. And actually, like, realistically, if I look at the map, I can go down this side over here, the southern portion of the island, and see if I can find a better set of buildings.
There's even a section in the middle there where you kind of went all the way around.
Exactly. So what I might wind up doing is building, if I find a better place, it's just mushrooms do become very useful down the road, and I have no idea what their value will be once the update comes out, but I do like to tag any place I can find 4 or 5 mushrooms, because down the way I will want to go looking for them. It's Black Forest there. And anyone who's like experienced the Valheim and wondering why I'm doing this, it's like I kind of want to set up once and not 5-6 times looking for a good base. I'd rather spend a bit more time at the outset and find close to a perfect location right away instead of moving. Yeah, it's a. I suspect this is something that's worth digging out at some point.
Right. This is a high point on the map too, right?
Yeah. In one of my test games, what at one point had the possibility to be this particular stream, but then I decided I wanted to actually start right raw new, not part way in. I had found a really great little, like 3 little, really good little places. So one, it was just like a solo building, kind of on stilts near the water, which was really good. And then there was 2 bases really close to the Black Forest, which were really good as well. And one of them even had like a great little hillock that the biggest building was on, and I turned that into my my house.
Nice.
I only played maybe a couple of hours on that world before I decided last night that, you know what, I'm gonna start a fresh world and do, like I said at the beginning, I'm gonna do most of the playthrough on stream. But like there'll become times where I'm like, okay, I need to get a crap ton of wood in order to do the next level of building. And no one really wants to watch me go and farm trees for 2 hours.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe they do. And maybe I'll record it and then make it available in a high-speed replay where you can watch me chop down trees for hours on end. But the other thing I'm going to do with this, which is interesting. So, if my buddy Andrew Bird winds up watching this video, it is somewhat to stick my to thumb my nose at you. I'm gonna continually reforest the areas that I cut down, because you can plant trees. You can't plant all types of trees. You can plant birch trees, pine trees, and fir trees presently, which are many of the major trees that are available in this world. But you can't beech. Pardon me. You can plant beech, pine, and fir, but no, you can't plant the birch trees or the oak.
Ooh.
It would be awesome if you could plant the oak, but the oak are epic. Like, even if the oak took twice as long as the other things to grow, it would totally be worth it. But I have a shared game that I play with him and with Andrew and Aaron, and I've come back on more than one occasion to have all of the trees I planted chopped down. Now, to give Andrew credit, he did not chop down the last big thing of trees after I gave him crap for cutting down all my trees all the time.
He left one.
He left one big, I replanted all of the trees that were in behind our base, because otherwise it just looks, and the other thing that really bothered me is he didn't deal with the stumps. He would just leave this, like, it looked like the worst set of deforestation before, like, so we live in the southern coast of BC, and we know logging here, and we know deforestation, and we also know good forest management. And one of the things you do is you get rid of the stumps. Like, leaving stumps is an issue. And actually, like, if you're a logger in Canada, ooh, there's a beehive in there. I can tell because of all the little swirly doodads. But if you log in Canada, definitely in BC, there is a thing called stumpage. If you don't deal with your stumps, you can be fined. Because
You will be fine.
you will be fined. Yeah, because
Are you like throwing rocks at it?
no, I was using my bow. More honey. Sweet.
Literally.
Literally sweet. Okay.
So were they logging all the forests that you?
So they would log it. So, like, let's let
Just
me,
to bug you, or
not to bug me, but we needed the wood for things, right? And I'm like, well, we can replant. Like, let's sure, let's mow it down, and then we could go do some adventuring. And while we're adventuring, the trees will grow. But see, like, I cut this tree down, and I carve it up.
oh, I wish.
Right? Every lumberjack who ever played this game went, I wish.
Like, what the deuce?
Right? But you have to be careful, because these things will fall on you and they will kill you.
Yeah, I've seen that. You could push that in the water and it will go off with its thing.
Yeah, I have logged enemies to death. Because I've basically been in the middle of logging, and I'm like, oh, here comes a... Oh, sweet. Okay.
Oh, and you dropped it on there.
I dropped the tree on them.
Speaking of wood people, kick his beach ass. See what I did there?
It's bow socks.
Rock.
What's that?
Go hit him with a rock.
If I could, I would.
Rock on a stick.
Rock on a stick. So anyway, so you wind up with all these stumps kicking around, but you can cut them out. You don't have to leave them there.
What harm is it leaving them?
They're ugly.
I'm just curious for the... Sorry?
They're ugly, honestly. And
okay.
and if you wind up wheeling a cart through here, they
Yep.
get in the way of your cart, just like you would expect.
They also impede in the reforestation. You have to remove them
Yes.
before you can put in new ones. Yep, makes sense.
Because when you plant things, they have to have enough space around them to grow. Okay, you know what? I think this is actually a good spot. So one of the thoughts, like kind of my initial thought, and when I was thinking about this, I was thinking like old school Roman or Viking circle fort, and then growing that up into like a little medieval village with a castle and everything up on the hill. And this kind of actually is not a bad terrain arrangement for that. So, you know, eventually up here, I can have my high mucky muck castle, flatten some land up here for that.
Well, the Vikings generally, when their rain forts that they built their forts near a waterway, not necessarily like right on the coast.
Yes.
But they near rivers and streams that don't seem big enough, but they are, to have their boats go up them inland, so they can pull their boats closer to their forts. They weren't so much about high ground.
No.
I believe.
So I've got
Good
a
example.
potential base.
Okay.
But what I'm going to do is I'm going to cruise. So like I cut across from over here. We've got this big black forest stretch here, which is cool. I'm going to cut over here and see what else I can find along the coast. Because there are some cool riverways that you can find as well. I also consumed some honey to increase my stamina.
Sugar rush.
And like a sugar rush, it does not last as long as other foods.
You don't feel rested anymore. There you go.
No chest. I think I was right on this one. Alright, so there's some more black forest here.
Did you come across a troll in this area?
Nope, it was on the other side. Some high ground here. Just like right on the cusp of the black forest. Oh, some standing stones.
Interesting.
Yeah, they've got some interesting little architectural things that they've done in here.
I think the only time I've heard stone to be in a place like that, generally it was a burial area.
And quite often there will be bones under it, under one of these.
Yeah. It's just the earth that was usually put over it is eroded away, leaving the stones which made up the chamber.
Gonna get some water here. Now, the people I've played with in the past would definitely get wiggy about the fact that I haven't settled down on a base yet.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, because they want to get started. Like, so people play games like this for different reasons. Sometimes they play it because they like doing the building, and some because they want to progress and advance through all of the bosses, which is one of Aaron's big pushes. So that was part of his impetus for playing. But, you know, as we reached the point at which there was no more bosses, once we defeated the last boss that is currently in the game, it was like, okay, so we went from playing probably at least weekly, if not sometimes twice a week on the shared server. We try to get together. To like, I don't think, I mean, I've logged in a couple of times and Andrew's logged in a couple of times. But it's not really a priority because we're like waiting for the next update. And that's part of what wanted me to get this going. I'm like, you know what? I want to build one in preparation for the update. Have a world that's here because the update's coming. So we've got structure. Got nearby coast access. So apparently I just entered a black forest biome.
Looks dark.
Dugan, turn back. This is a dangerous place. Prove your worth by slaying Eikthyr. Yes, yes, yes. I will kill the Eikthyrs.
What? Just like the main stag of the forest?
Exactly.
Bambi's dad?
Yeah, pretty much. Oopsie.
Holy cow, wow.
Yeah.
That's so much money.
And that's the problem with being too close to a black forest.
Those bad guys.
That's where the grey dwarves and the trolls live. Yep. It is a thing. Hello, community.
You're not far away from where you fell.
I'm a ways away, but I've got some gear here. Like I've got some food, so I can eat some stuff. So I don't have zero stamina, and I can make it easier for me to get back, and I can rest. Oops. Check the map. So this is where my last little base was, and this is where I was when I died.
Oh, jeez. I thought you were closer.
I thought I was closer too. One of the neat things is once you defeat each of the bosses, you have powers that you get from them that you can activate. So you can only have one of them active at a time, so you pick one. And Eikthyrs is running. So you drain stamina at 60% rate when you're running when you have his power active.
Wow.
Don't want to run through the Black Forest.
Why not?
Because there will be more enemies there. Like the meadows are pretty tame. There's like you run into the boar and they might attack you, and you'll have the greylings. But like the Black Forest will have gray dwarves, gray dwarf brutes, gray dwarf shaman, and then trolls.
Oh, they have a cave troll.
Sometimes they.
Interesting.
The beehive there. I will come back and claim it when I have, armor and weapons.
Right. Your stuff.
When I have my stuff. Let's make the map smaller. So I can adjust the size of my mini map so I can see my markers. Oh yeah. Throwing stones is one of the things that I think they're missing. I should be able to just chuck rocks and stuff.
I should remember the rocks. Yeah, it should just be basic. How do you learn to throw a spear if you don't learn by throwing rocks?
Right? Get my running up, that's for sure. So yeah, different weapons you have in the game. You've got axes, clubs, the bow, a pole axe, Eikthyr, an Eggthyr?
I think that's it.
Eggthyr, and then a spear, sword, mace. Yeah, I think that's... And daggers. You want to be a stealthy Viking boy. Or Viking girl. There was the option to play a female character.
When I sneak up on my coworkers, they ask me how you do that. I do explain to them that I come from a long line of Danish ninjas.
The infamous Danish ninjas.
Yeah. They're that good. Have you ever heard of them?
Right?
No, exactly.
Doing their job.
Great job.
The best way to keep a secret is tell no one. The second best way is tell one other person. There is no third best way. Raspberries.
Lone Star.
Right? Raspberry. Gave me the...
You gave me the raspberry.
I hate raspberry.
So running pretty long.
It is a long way to go.
It is. There's still that section in the middle, or is that just really hard to access?
Some of that section in the middle here is a black
Yeah.
forest,
Ah,
which is why I didn't want to go for it. At least I think it is. I might have just missed it.
right.
It's one of those things where, like, I've done, like, just gone on exploratory, I'm just going to explore the island type walkarounds. And you can just walk around for, like, a couple of hours. Like, I mean, I'm an hour and a half into the stream. And that's largely what I've been doing. Walking around, trying to find a good spot, like a really good spot for a base.
Yep, yep.
Corpse here. Around.
The place to go yet.
Yeah. I remember when I found this the first time. There have been some people who've done what they call hardcore mode for Valheim, where they play on a server where if they die, they delete the world.
Oh.
So it's like basically a no death server. Like that's pretty hardcore.
Oh yeah.
No, that's not for this monkey. I'm too much of a casual gamer.
Right.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I've got like 1,000 hours into Civ 6, something like that.
Right.
Which some people would say that's not casual at all. I think Civ 6 that's a lot of time to put into a single game. Like, and that is true. Got my stuff back. Hold my stuff. I had been intending to make a bit of a base in here, but I think,
Someone wants to kick your butt.
yeah. so this is like just a little skim of Black Forest,
Right.
which is like, even though they're like, and there are full-on like glowy spawn points for like the gray dwarves and stuff, right? But all it takes is a little spit like that for them to just kind of like have like the random spawns. Oh wow, I got some feedback there. I think that might have been coming through from
I think it was me.
yeah. But yeah, so the random spawns can be a thing. Oh, I don't really want a random troll just coming in. So
Well, if you learn to dodge rocks and you get the right troll, you can get them to move a lot of stone for you.
and to be fair, I mean I can, like, if I had to, I could 100% deal with a troll. I have fought a troll at this kind of level. It's not easy, but it's totally doable.
Right.
It's a small chunk of Black Forest. It's not like, oh,
Until you get right into them.
what's this one say? Oh, I didn't see. Oh, rat. No, I'm not dealing with a 2-star grade. Frack that. Or Black Forest.
Not gonna like get out the bow and snipe.
No. Like, that's a tough call.
Still following.
Yeah. No, and he just hit me for a crap ton of damage compared to my hit point total.
No way. He's still chasing me down. I think it's still coming after you. You really pissed him off.
Apparently.
Now, do you not get into a tree stand in one of these areas? Oh, and just zap them?
No, all I really need to do is, like, I think.
I don't think they like the sun so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, he keeps running back in there. They're a nocturnal bunch, or like the dark.
Yeah, exactly. So he'll wander off. As I get far enough away, he'll wander off. So the other thing is that this is an instanced game, which means that there's only so much happening around you. And most of the rest of the island is more or less just kind of not happening, or the rest of the world isn't. Like,
Right.
You don't have to worry about things attacking your stuff when you're not around.
Except if you have your world open to other players and their
Exactly.
dubious intentions.
Yeah. Precisely.
Oh, I see with the archery is you got an arc it.
Yeah. With this bow, as your bow improves, you have to do less of that.
You got kind of cornered. Why don't you just go in there and It was a hammer. Oh, for real? It's swimming away?
Yeah.
That's hysterical.
Oh, it all sunk.
Oh. Garbage.
Yep. All right. I am a deer murderer.
Deer murder.
So let's go this way. This moves me back towards where I came into the world.
Connect all the dots.
There are a lot of war here. It's interesting in some of the game because I mean again the random seed plays a big part in it. But I've played on a couple of maps where I didn't run into this many boar across 2 islands.
Oh, wow.
So here's that little waterway. It's a little fjord.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think my potential base location is probably where I'm going to set up. Unless I find a much better set of structures along this area.
Uh-oh.
I don't think I am. I think this is... Check out the seagull. So yeah, I think I'm gonna head back to that other location. Oh,
It's a little place to dig up.
yeah.
Rock.
You know what? This might actually too. It's not right near the Black Forest, which would have been a nice plus, but it's got some raspberries on its border, some neck and more around, some food bits, secondary building up there. I give you primary start. You know what? I think this is going to be where the base will be. I like the plentiful raspberries nearby. There's a nice little natural bay here for building docks for the ships.
Yep.
And a couple of structures that I can use as a starting point for crafting, cooking,
Board.
and lodging. So yeah, so this will be it. Let's go find
Sweet.
a base. And I think it's far enough away from dangers that it should be fine. So go down and craft a bench. Okay. So that'll become a storage base down the road because there's a black forest right near there. that I'll probably wind up using to get supplies, and I can stage off of that base that's there. So the building shack. So put together or bed, chest, fire. Fire. So start with the tiny little trees. I just want to get enough. Basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to build like a little chimney over the fire, so it's not likely to go out, and it'll stay lit. I don't have to worry about it, and I can put some cooking gear over it and cook the meat and stuff that I've collected. Although I don't think I've got much with me. This should be a nice start.
Construction of the buildings. Do they sometimes have like a set way they're gonna be built, or you can
Nope. You can build them however you like.
just provide you have materials to do it?
Materials and support.
Right.
So one of the things that they do in this game is have this idea. Suck. Let my stamina regen a little bit. Okay, there we go. Ladder. But yeah, it's just they've got a system for dealing with what do you call it? Support. That way, is there enough support to build where you want it, so it doesn't fall down, basically. That's actually how I want that set up. Let's take that out. Half. So that should make the fire fine for that. And then we'll throw. It's not the best option, but I can at least now put up some cooking stuff over it.
Right.
And I think that is probably where I'm going to call it a night, both in the game and for the stream. Thanks, Kurt, for coming and hanging out and asking all the questions that someone who's never played Valheim would ask.
I've never played really any of these type of games ever, so yeah, it seems very interesting.
Yeah, it's got a lot of fun. I think it's got a lot of replay value if you're into these sorts of games. Obviously, it is not for everyone, but I think it's fun, and you can get some really beautiful vistas, and I think while the character model, in particular, the character model is kind of the worst of all of them, the rest of the models have continually gotten better, and I think the world itself is quite beautiful, and that's what it's more about for me.
Yeah.
And I haven't really taken the opportunity to take a look at. There's Yggdrasil, the world tree, and during a thunderstorm, you can sometimes see Thor riding across the sky in a chariot pulled by, I believe it looked like six-legged goats.
Goats? I thought it was a horse. But yeah, either way.
Either way.
That's
But
awesome.
cool. All right, so thanks everyone for joining me. Thanks, Kurt, again for stopping by. And as always, work your wonk, keep it geeky, and stay safe. I don't know when or where you are watching this, but currently here in southern British Columbia, it was 40 degrees today, which is 40 degrees Celsius, which is like 108 degrees in imperial units and freedom units. So yeah, that's a lot for a place that, you know, we think that like 32 degrees Celsius. So like, I don't know what that is. I don't even know what that is in freedom units, but it's not very hot comparatively to the rest of the world. But yeah, we find that hot. So this is pretty bad. And everyone doesn't have air conditioning down here. So,
No.
so everyone chill, stay frosty, have a great one. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Good night, everybody.